hands and lights can't stop me. I'll just hold on for dear life. Yeah, I can't give up this feeling that I get when looking down from the sky. Now with you, now with you, I'm with you, that I get when looking down from the sky. It's me now. Can't give up this feeling. It's me now. Can't give up this feeling. It's me now. Can't give up this feeling. It's me now. Can't give up. Cause those hands and lights can't stop me. I'll just hold on for dear life. Yeah, I can't give up this feeling that I get when looking down from the sky. Now with you, now with you, can't give up this feeling. Can't give up this Cause those hands and lights can't stop me. I'll just hold on for dear life. Yeah, I can't give up this feeling that I get when looking down from the sky. Now with you, now with you, I'm with you, that I get when looking down from the sky. It's me now. Can't give up this feeling. It's me now. Can't give up this feeling. It's me now. Can't give up this feeling. It's me now. Can't give up.
All right, everyone, welcome to round 5 of the Overwatch XP League matchups. We got the Madison Eagles playing against the Triangle Wolves for your week 5 matchups. Looking forward to it. An awesome one. We got a couple different fills in, as a lot of players are busy this weekend, but we are able to get a full team of 6, which is great. Unfortunately, the Triangle Wolves weren't able to do the same, so we'll be playing against some bots. But without further ado, I got nothing else really to say. We've got the first matchup coming at you, first map. Let's head in it. So we've got this first matchup coming at you. We've got the Eagles versus the Triangle Wolves. Can I just say, folks, how lovely I think the overlay turned out. It looks really good. There we got the eagle up there. I want to thank Coach Alex for putting a lot of effort into making that look really good. So I'm stoked. I'm stoked with that. It looks really great. Again, we got the Eagles on your right and your Triangle Wolves on the left. We've got I'm gonna get a quick pause here. So we'll double check to see, make sure. Sorry, internet's rough day. We'll make sure that he gets backs in there. Forgot to unmute this. So we'll get set up in with that in just a moment then, as they seem to have a little technical issues there. So we'll be right back as we set up for that. Stick around.
Those hands and lights can't stop me. I'll just hold on for dear life. Yeah, I can't give up this feeling that I get when looking down from this high. Now with you, now with you,
Alrighty, folks, we're getting back into it. We've got the unpause coming out now. Looks like everyone is ready to roll into here. Setting up to attack 5 seconds into the game. Let's get right into it. Checking out the team here. We've got Ghost, Phantom, Dreamer, Lunar Eclipse, Waspies, and Plurp. Again, we have a couple fills in as some. We got a pause coming out request, actually. Coming through. So we'll be right back as we try to resolve this pause one more time. We'll be right back.
those hands and lights can't stop me.
Alrighty, looks like we resolved it pretty quickly. And in the interim, we also got our wonderful caster, Sunshine Bennett, here.
Hello, hello.
Pleasure to have you. Always a pleasure to hear your voice and hear you cast. So let's see how this game will roll on out.
Yeah, we've got that legendary Plurp Reinhardt that we've been seeing throughout so many of the Madison Eagles' recent games. And it's going to be Phantom and the Baptiste this time. That's a new pick for Madison, providing a different sort of healing, the area of effect compared to Ana's targeted healing. It appears to have worked out for them in this fight, as they were able to pretty quickly clean this one up. Phantom getting a huge amount of that ultimate charge already built.
Yeah, so I mean, we've seen Phantom kind of flex in a lot of different supports roles. We've seen the Ana a lot. We've seen the Baptiste a lot. Something that we don't get a lot of in our teams. We usually get a lot of Mercies. We get a lot of Lucios. The Ana Baptiste on that Phantom is extremely strong. The Immortality Field, as well as that Anti-Nade, comes in clutch in so many different ways, and for Phantom to kind of be that kind of agent of...
Well, that Shatter Dose Blind Plurp, and speaking of the anti-grenades, Plurp's got one, going to be very low on health. The Immortality Field will be the only thing keeping him up at the moment, and the Nanoed Soldier 76 behind him, that will certainly be sufficient to take him down. Madison down many members, but it's going to look like the other team is down just as many now, as it's going to be trades off on the point. Seems like at the end of the melee, it'll only be Madison's Junkrat left standing. And who are we going against here, Cody?
This is the Triangle Wolves. So yeah, I think the Triangle Wolves did come out extremely strong. I was about to say they won that fight. And with a really well-placed Riptire coming out from Waspies on 7, it's going to be... You know, he's able to stay in a very safe position away and then bring that Riptire through. But the Soldier 76 attack visor does come out and get him going. But the Franklin Wolves are going to come through trying to find... But the...
Nice Shatter. It catches 4, and the Roadhog just absolutely melts. The Amplification Matrix now, this is another piece of utility the Baptiste has. Amazing. The Amplification Matrix plus the Fire Strike is a one-shot onto most characters in the game, and that Baptiste went down to it. And without your healing, you have to retreat out of the fight. But you don't even... Do you have time to touch the point if you're the Triangle Wolves? It doesn't look like you do. That Reinhardt just moments away, but was not able to make it there.
A really great round coming from the Eagles here. It was a really back and forth. Like I said, that last fight with the Triangle Wolves did seem like they came out on top, but with some well-placed positioning coming from Waspies and a well-placed Riptire, just going to swing it really strongly in the Eagles' favor as we move on to the second map of Busan now. It is 1-0 in favor of the Eagles on this map 1.
Yeah, the Eagles just going to need to clean up this one final point for the Busan map to be theirs. They don't see the need to make any real switches to their composition. Baptiste Moira is going to be able to output a lot of healing, and that's what both teams are going to go with here. A sort of different tank line, though, is for both teams. We've got the Roadhog on the side of the Wolves versus the Zarya. The Zarya's bubbles are going to give Plurp a lot more survivability than the Roadhog, and that Fire Strike takes down Moira, probably with some long-range shots coming in from Phantom as well to get that additional damage, and it's going to be a decisive hold on the point starting out for the Madison Eagles, and it's going to be very difficult to get in here when you're down on this healing roll. The Reaper getting so much damage in there, and the Triangle Wolves, they're just scattered in their approach to the point. They can't figure out how to work together, and that'll be the Madison Eagles taking the first hold on this point.
Yeah, I think the Eagles kind of really set themselves up on that point, and with 2 bots on the Triangle Wolves team, it can be really hard to communicate to bots because they're bots. And so the coordination just doesn't work out, and so we see that Soldier 76 trying to push up with the team, and the team's going to actually end up pushing along with the Soldier 76, trying to get some eliminations. Does find the Immo field that's going to be down. It's going to be a big deal for the Triangle Wolves.
Phantom down. That's going to mean low healing is available. The Moira going down means no healing is available here. And that'll be Ghost having to back off. Down healers, down an entire team, it seems like. And that Wraith form will not last you very long, Ghost. The Hammer of Chastity Lovely will be more than enough to take him down. And Madison Eagles take 36%, but this is a scary looking hold for them. The Earth Shatter is ready, and that ultimate can be used to great effect. Madison, they have their own Earth Shatter, though, and the Death Blossom and Riptire coming up as well.
We saw the investment of the window, the Amplification Matrix coming from the Baptiste in that fight, kind of allowed them to really secure that. But looking at the ults now, we do see some ults coming out from Ghostly Lovely. It does get booped away and delayed. Saw it coming through as the Riptire now comes through from Waspies, finding 3 on there, securely giving the Eagles the point here against the Triangle Wolves. 41 to 39 now going into it.
That'll definitely be a decisive one. And now look at Ghost here. On this high ground, looking for a Death Blossom, no doubt. It's going to be the Madison Eagles' responsibility. They need to bait the Triangle Wolves into coming in just a little bit too far, because if they turn their backs for a moment, that Ghost Death Blossom will be on them, and what can they do about it? They have the Immortality Field, but it'll only last a second. The window is committed, though, and Plurk finds two with the Fire Strike. What incredible coordination. The Death Blossom isn't even needed. In fact, they hardly have to spend anything. They use the Coalescence, but did they even need to? 2 eliminations were found off the back of simply the window Fire Strike. What a powerful combination of tools.
Great communication as well. That does, I think it was pretty almost instant there. You had the window open into the Fire Strike, so you can definitely tell that they were planning that out. Ghost kind of going in the back line, does find 2 with the Death Blossom. Maybe a little greedy, but does get rewarded for it. And
yeah,
with that, the team's going to come through.
It won't just be any 2 either. It'll be both of the supports. That'll mean that the healing is just now respawning. And once again, they're going to find themselves struggling to touch the point. It'll be the Soldier 76 spot, actually, that'll be the one who's able to make it there, but loses the 1v1 to Madison's Moira. And is anybody else able to touch? The Graviton Surge will seal the deal, and the Eagles take map 1.
A lot of great ult usage there. We saw like 3 ults in the end, and those ults at the end were used to great effect to deny the Wolves the ability to even touch the point. As we see one of those ults being used here by Waspies as the Riptire comes through, finds the 3 after we saw that Immo field go out. That's a big deal, as that Immo field would have saved them, but the team was ready and on it and ready to deny that there. So great game coming out from the Eagles. We'll be right back as we set up for the map 2 for that match. We'll see you then. Stick around.
Those hands and lights can't stop me. I'll just hold on for dear life. Yeah, I can't give up this feeling that I get when looking down from the sky. Now with you, now with you, the sky. Hands and lights can't stop me. I'll just hold on for dear life. Yeah, I can't give up this feeling that I get when looking down from the sky. Now with you, now with you, give up this
Alrighty, folks, we're going into map 2 of this series. Eagles did, as you saw, win your first map, so they are up 1-0 against the Triangle Wolves. We didn't decide to swap sides, as it is control, so no side is really the attacking side. Both sides are the same. And so we have your Eagles. Oh, yep.
It's in fact going to be completely symmetrical here if you look at the maps, which is a unique feature. And also, the Triangle Wolves, I would just like to briefly mention, they do have a couple of bots on their team. Unfortunately, they did have a shortage of players today. But the bots that they chose were Zarya and Mei, as opposed to the Roadhog and Soldier 76 of the first map. This speaks to a different sort of composition that they're going to want to come out with. They're going to want to hopefully capitalize off Mei's ability to limit the enemy's mobility and trap them in one place. And you can see their picks are sort of capitalizing off that idea, trying to enable the Reinhardt of Chastity Lovely to just get that hammer right where it needs to be, which is in the flesh of his enemies. And now, though, we'll see how it goes for them. As Madison, they're playing a very brawly sort of composition as well.
I think what you said is great there, too. I think the Mei and the Zarya comp is a little bit more strong with the bots, because as we saw in the first game, the bots do like to kind of push the front line extremely hard. We're not seeing that quite yet, but I'm imagining as they're walking up through, they're going to try to push on that. And that Mei and Zarya have a very good survivability with the ice block and the bubble, and they're just going to push up just like we see here. And
yeah,
Marvel's
freezing, but the Mei will get taken down too early, unfortunately, and that front line just sort of crumbling for the Wolves. Unfortunately for them, it'll be the Eagles who get the point first.
Exactly. Like, kind of just predicted the future here. We saw the Zarya and Mei bot just kind of walk up to the team and right into Plurp's hammer. And so, like they did survive quite a bit, but because of their abilities, but it's just not enough when you're basically down 2 players. These are the hardest level bots that Overwatch can offer. But, you know, this is a competitive game, and sometimes bots just aren't good enough.
Yeah, and you see Ghost just like those Reaper Hellfire shotguns absolutely melt through Zarya, especially if she is just determined to walk into your team. And it's a great counter pick when your opponent is forced to play a tank bot to play that Reaper, because a tank can get punished for even the smallest of mistakes with that Reaper. The shotguns do such a good job against those larger targets.
Yeah, and a reason why those shotguns are so good is because it has a lot of pellets. When you look at someone like Reinhardt, who has a lot of shield to them, as well as Diva, that yellow bar that you see if you're not familiar, that's going to be, as a lot of ults come out, actually, is going to interrupt me. Caster Curse, 3 down from Waspies. A lot of ults used in that fight, actually, as we see the Mercy ult does come out. I don't know if it was necessary, but it looks like Phantom was able to maintain the ult and Ghost very close to inching the way to that Death Blossom. So in the next fight, it's 80% to 0. It's looking pretty secure in the Eagles fight as the Blizzard does come out.
That's going to be Plurp frozen for sure. There's nothing you can do about that one. But the Baptiste healing should be enough. Plurp will stay up through that one. And so many of the members of the Wolves will fall to the massive damage output by the Madison team. None of them will be able to touch the point. And so many ults were left available. Madison had plenty of tools left in their box to secure that one.
A lot of ults used by the Wolves, but some great immortality field placement, some good healing, some good positioning and awareness of that from the Eagles there. Really securing them 100 to 0 that last point.
Yeah, can we talk about Phantom? Because Phantom looked very strong on the Ana during the portion of regionals that I was able to watch until that grand final series, or that losers final series. I think this was the Eagles, so they played in the losers finals, and Phantom really struggled against the Pharah Mercy on the Ana. But now, looking at this Baptiste gameplay, you've got to imagine it's looking much better in terms of being able to output that healing. Both the immortality fields and amplification matrices have been on point, and that's been providing a ton of value for the team.
It really just goes to show like what practice can do, because again, we've seen Phantom a little bit in the season play Baptiste, I think for regionals, the Ana just seemed like a more good fit for Phantom in his eyes, but I think the Baptiste is just as strong. We had other players that could play Baptiste, but the Baptiste Ana is really strong with Phantom, and again, not a lot of our players on the season do flex into those roles. We have a lot of Mercies, a lot of Moiras, a lot of Lucios.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm told as the flex support player for my own competitive team is that Ana goes well with a Winston. That nano boost onto the diving monkey, just so powerful. While Baptiste goes really well with a Reinhardt, as that immortal is able to keep the brawl sustained for even longer. And that shatter is going to be really unfortunate. Chastity Lovely getting right in there with the hammer, just as Reinhardt is supposed to do. It'll be a battle of two Reinhardts now, as that shatter is going to catch two on the side of the Wolves, but they are going to be able to do enough based on that huge initiation from Chastity Lovely, taking down so many of the Madison Eagles members. They were not able to recover from that one.
Definitely feels like the Eagles getting a little cocky here, playing a little bit more out in the open. Did look like they got a little bit sandwiched between the soldier played by Blaze coming on that other side. They kind of got converged on their flank there, and because of that, the Wolves were able to push through, but the Death Blossom coming out does find the Immo field. Chastity Lovely getting in a bad way against Plurp, has to retreat, but the Eagles are able to hold the point against the contest of Chastity
window,
Lovely.
Though. That window is, nobody's going to stay behind it, and it looks like everybody just runs onto the point on the side of the Triangle Wolves here, not playing behind their window and failing to get the most value that they could have out of that. So many of Madison's members were frozen up as a result of that blizzard, and that should have been the Triangle Wolves' fight to win.
I think it might have been a little bit of miscommunication. Maybe the Triangle Wolves are just kind of facing the fact that they are down two members. It, I know it is really tough when you're facing that kind of situation to deal with as a person, especially getting so wrecked here. But Chastity Lovely is got something to say about that and comes with a really strong Earth Shatter coming through. Ghost is last on the point, does not have much ult, but has to Wraith form away as the Wolves now take possession of that point, 45% to 78, looking like the Triangle Wolves are trying to make a name for themselves in this round. Make sure that they know that this two-player downside is not much of a downside, and make sure that the Eagles go away running.
I mean, they only have, like, this is their last round. If they lose this round, that's it. That's the end. And this bomb could be looking to put an end to it. The May falls as well as the Immortality Field to Baptiste soon after. And with only 22 seconds remaining as of the moment of capture, it's going to be very difficult for the Triangle Wolves to find a way back into this one, especially if this Soldier 76 is caught by the Junkrat. He's being chased, and he will be caught. Waspy's doing a great job there, just finding Blaze in that corner. The Amplification Matrix will enable a Fire Strike, but none will be used as the players, they're going to be going very different routes to this point, being very sneaky, splitting up, but it's not going to pay off for them, as in Overwatch, splitting up is often the opposite of what you want to do, as Chastity Lovely will be the last one here. Blaze, using the Tactical Visor, gets solo shattered, and it'll be the Death Blossom just dancing to the finish as the Eagles take the second map and the series.
It was a very tough fight coming from the Triangle Wolves. They made me worried in a couple situations there, but ultimately the Eagles were able to pull it together and take the victory, as we see an awesome play of the game, dodging out an Earth Shatter, pulling in the Riptire to finish off 3 here, denying a huge push from the Triangle Wolves. We saw how strong that Earth Shatter from Chastity Lovely was, and managed to win them a lot of fights, but the denial there from Waspies was incredibly powerful, and with that, they're going to win the game there.
Yeah, I mean, that Earth Shatter from Chastity Lovely, like, it finds 3 on the side of the Madison Eagles, but what happened after it, you could see in that play of the game, the Junkrat hid in the corner and used the Riptire, but what you didn't see quite so much is that Plurp, the Reinhardt, was also able to dodge that Earth Shatter and then return with an Earth Shatter of his own, which was able to put those 3 players that got eliminated by the Riptire on the ground, easy pickings for it when they otherwise might have had safety. Plurp there was the huge enabler by being able to use that counter Earth Shatter so quickly. Because when you're a Reinhardt, it's your responsibility both to hit the Earth Shatter and to block the Earth Shatter. And you've just hit an Earth Shatter. So what's going through your brain is not, I need to block, it's, I need to swing my hammer. And when you're swinging your hammer, the one thing you are not able to do at the same time is hold up your shield. It's a perfect timing from Plurp to find that value and really close out that fight.
Fully agree. Looks like the Triangle team is declining to do a friendly here. Completely understandable there. So we will be right back, hopefully with a quick interview from one of the players that we have in-house. We'll come back with that in just a minute. You stick around.
Cause those hands and lights can't stop me. I just hold on for dear life. Yeah, I can't give up this feeling that I get when looking down from the sky. When I'm with you, when I'm with you, I'm with you, that I get when looking down from the sky. It's me.
Alrighty, folks, I am joined here by Lunar Eclipse with a quick interview for the game. How was that game, first of all?
It was a good game.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously the Triangle Wolves were down a couple players.
Yeah.
Do you think that had a big impact on their game?
Yeah, because they actually surprisingly had really good bots, but like, still, bots are never as good as people. So, I think they were missing a few key people in their team.
I agree. So, how do you think they did? Because they won a couple fights there.
Yeah.
What do you think allowed them, the Triangle team, to kind of go through? Was it maybe a mistake on your end, or do you think the Triangle Wolves were able to kind of pull something strong in those fights? What do you think they did to try to fight you guys
Yeah.
and win those fights?
I think they had really good ult usage. Like, they saved ults for when they were trying to push. They never, like, solo ulted and stuff like that. So, they just had really good ult usage, and whenever they tried to push, most of the time they would actually get that push because of how they manage their ults.
Yeah, I agree. We saw a lot of really great Earth Shatters from Chastity
Yes.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And I think another thing though too is like once you guys were able to like you guys did get ulted, you lost the fight, but you guys came back with a just as strong ult. So like, what was the comms like for you? Because it seemed like your ult usage was really on point.
Yeah.
Were you guys like doing really good comms, or what was it like in the room there?
Mostly we were just trying to say, all right, we're only going to use one ult for this fight, and if we need another one, we'll use that one, but try to stick to one ult. And then most of the time we actually didn't end up needing that, so we would save it for a different fight.
Yeah.
And then just kept on doing that, and then we just kind of had good ult usage too.
Yeah, the reason I asked is I could definitely tell that you guys were communicating because it was really good cycling of the ults.
You know, you
Yes,
got the Death
thank you.
Blossom that was, you had 3 ults at one time, you
Yeah.
used one, and then the next fight you used another, and then the next fight you used another,
Mhm.
and that really secured you the win in some of those fights.
Yeah.
You are going to be on to the Marbles team at 5 o'clock. So, is there anything you think the Eagles did differently that you're going to do for the Marbles differently? Like, I guess, how are you going to prepare for the Marbles game coming up?
I already kind of know like the Marvels because the Marvels is my regional team also,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I just think the Eagles also play really well and the Marvels play really well. They're two really well balanced teams.
Yeah.
They kind of like think the same way, so I just think I'm just gonna kick butt in the Marvels game too.
Yeah. One of the things like that we noticed differently about the Eagles and the Marvels was their support line. So you
Yes.
being a main Mercy support, how is it different with Phantom playing like Anna and Baptiste,
Mhm.
and who was Vextress playing like Mercy and Moira? Like, how does that change how you play as a support, or does it?
It like when we're playing them.
Yeah, when you're playing, because in that last game, for example, Phantom was playing Baptiste,
Yeah.
and you were playing Mercy. Does anything in your head say like, oh, we got an immortality field, so I can be more risky, or does that change how you play?
I kind of just gotta know like what the other support's abilities are and like whether to be more focused on healing or damage boosting.
Yeah.
Because with Baptiste, like they can just kind of spam healing like Junkrat can spam damage.
Mm-hmm.
So I can be a little more loose on like damage boost and healing.
Yeah.
Whereas in like a Zenyatta or something like that,
Yeah.
I have to make sure that I can't like just fly away and do damage boost on this one character. I have to be more worried about and conscious about the rest of the team.
That's
yeah.
awesome. Cool. All right. Well, I guess we'll see you in the Marvels game.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you. So we'll be right back with some kind of closing statements, and that's that. Thank you for coming for an interview.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right. We'll be right back.
Bye.
Cause those hands and lights can't stop me. I'll just hold on for dear life. Yeah, I can't give up this feeling that I get when looking down from this high. Now with you, now with you, I'm with you, that I get when looking down from this high. It's me now. Can't give up this feeling. It's me now. Can't give up this feeling. It's me now. Can't give up this feeling. It's me now. Can't give up. Cause those hands and lights can't stop me. I'll just hold on for dear life. Yeah, I can't give up this feeling that I get when looking down from the sky.
Alrighty, folks, that's going to do it for us here at Madison, XP League Madison with the Eagles. We've got another match coming at you just shortly soon. We've got the Madison Marvels versus the Triangle Hydra coming at you at 5 o'clock, so in about 2 more hours. Look forward to seeing you all there, but until then, you all have a great